The throne room erupted into chaos the moment the assassins revealed themselves. Marcus Webb had been standing near the crystalline pillars, observing the diplomatic proceedings between Earth's delegation and the Valorian Empire with barely concealed boredom. He was just security detail, a former Marine who had volunteered for this mission because it paid well and sounded more interesting than corporate bodyguard work back home. The Valorians were tall, elegant beings with silver skin and eyes that shifted through the color spectrum depending on their emotions. Their queen, Alara, sat upon a throne that seemed to grow organically from the floor itself, listening to trade proposals with patient grace. Then the windows shattered. Marcus moved on instinct. The attackers came through in a coordinated strike, their armor dark and fitted with tech that bent light around their forms. They carried weapons that looked primitive, curved bows made from some black metal. But Marcus knew better than to underestimate alien technology. The first volley of arrows flew toward the throne with frightening speed, each projectile humming with energy that made the air shimmer. The Queen's guards were fast, but Marcus was closer. He launched himself forward, his body intercepting 3 arrows meant for Alara's chest. The impact drove him backward, pain exploding across his torso as the projectiles punched through his body armor like it was paper. He heard screaming, whether his own or someone else's, he couldn't tell. His vision blurred as he hit the ground hard, blood spreading across the polished floor in a growing pool. Through the haze of agony, Marcus saw the Queen's guards finally react, their weapons discharging bursts of directed energy that caught 2 assassins mid-leap. The remaining attackers scattered, vanishing through the broken windows with the same speed they'd arrived. The entire assault had lasted perhaps 15 seconds. Alara was suddenly kneeling beside him, her hands hovering over his wounds with an expression Marcus had never seen on a Valorian face before. Her eyes had gone completely white, a sign of extreme distress in her species. She was speaking rapidly in her native tongue, words that his translator implants struggled to process through his failing consciousness. "Human, stay conscious," she said, switching to English. "My healers are coming." Marcus tried to respond, but only managed a wet cough. The arrows hadn't just pierced him. They were doing something else, spreading cold through his veins like ice water. Poison, probably. He'd accepted death the moment he'd made the decision to jump. It had been the right call. Wasn't that what Marines did? Protect those who couldn't protect themselves? The next hours were fragments. Hands lifting him. The ceiling rushing past as they carried him somewhere. Bright lights. Voices speaking urgently in languages he didn't understand. Pain that made the arrow wounds feel like pinpricks by comparison. Then finally darkness. Marcus woke 3 days later in a medical facility that looked more like a garden than a hospital. Bioluminescent plants provided soft light, and the air smelled of something between mint and honey. He was alive, which was surprising enough. Even more surprising was that he felt good. Better than good, actually. He sat up slowly, expecting pain, but there was only a slight stiffness in his chest. A Valorian healer entered, her eyes cycling to a pleased green when she saw him awake. "The human rises," she said. "We were uncertain. Your physiology is very different from ours." "The Queen?" Marcus asked. "Unharmed, thanks to your intervention. She has been here every day, waiting for you to wake." The healer's expression became more serious. "You should know that those arrows were treated with shadow venom, designed specifically to kill Valorians. The fact that you survived it all is remarkable. The fact that you took 3 and lived is unprecedented." Marcus looked down at his chest, where he could see faint silver lines beneath his medical gown, like metallic scars. "What did you do to me?" "We saved you the only way we could. Valorian healing works by introducing nanoscale bioorganisms that repair damage at the cellular level. They've bonded with your system permanently. You are, in a sense, partially Valorian now. Before Marcus could process that information, Queen Alara entered the room. She dismissed the healer with a gesture and stood at the foot of his bed, her eyes a deep purple that his implant translated as profound gratitude mixed with something else he couldn't quite identify. "Marcus Webb of Earth," she said formally, "you placed your life before mine without hesitation. You had no oath to me, no bond of duty beyond your employment. Yet you acted as though my life was worth more than your own. Just doing my job, Your Majesty." No, her voice was firm. Your job was to observe and report threats. What you did was sacrifice. Among my people, such an act creates a debt that cannot be repaid with near currency or titles. She moved closer, and Marcus noticed she was carrying something. A small box made from the same organic crystal as her throne. She opened it to reveal a pendant, a teardrop of silver metal that seemed to contain swirling galaxies within its depths. "This is a heart star," Alara explained. "It is given only to those who have earned the highest honor of the Valorian Empire. It grants you full citizenship, access to all our worlds, and a seat on my personal council, should you choose to claim it." She paused. "It also grants you something more personal. Among my people, one who saves the life of a royal at the cost of their own blood is considered bonded to that royal. Not as a servant, but as family." Marcus stared at the pendant. "I don't understand." Alara's eyes shifted to a warm gold. "It means that you are under my protection for the rest of your life. It means that my resources are your resources. It means that when you need aid, I will answer. It means that you are no longer simply Marcus Webb, Human Security Officer. You are Marcus Webb, Shield of the Valorian Throne, brother to the Queen." The weight of what she was offering settled over him slowly. Not just wealth or position, but belonging. A place in a society that spanned 17 star systems. The Valorian Empire was ancient and powerful, their technology centuries ahead of Earth's. To be considered family by their queen was a gift beyond measure. "The scars," Marcus said, touching his chest. "You said the healing bonded with me permanently. Yes, you will age more slowly now, perhaps living twice your normal span. You will heal from injuries that would kill other humans. And you will always carry the mark of what you did." Alara smiled, an expression that transformed her face. "Among my people, scars are not shameful. They are stories written on the body. Yours tell of courage and selflessness. They are beautiful." Marcus accepted the pendant, feeling its slight weight in his palm. The metal was warm, pulsing gently as if alive. "I'm still trying to wrap my head around becoming part alien." "You remain entirely yourself," Alara assured him. "The modifications only enhance what was already there. Your strength, your instincts, your capacity for quick decision-making. We have simply given you the tools to survive the consequences of your own bravery." Over the following weeks, as Marcus recovered fully and began to understand the extent of his new abilities, he learned more about the assassination attempt. The attackers had been from a rival faction that believed the Queen's diplomatic overtures to humanity were a sign of weakness. They had been wrong. The attempt had only strengthened Ilara's resolve, and Earth's stock in Valorian eyes had risen considerably. Humans, it seemed, made excellent allies when it mattered. Marcus also learned that his new position came with responsibilities. The Queen wanted him to train a new guard force, one that incorporated human tactical thinking with Valorian technology. She wanted an exchange program, bringing human soldiers to learn from Valorian warriors, and vice versa. She wanted Marcus's input on policy, particularly regarding how to better defend against unconventional attacks. He accepted it all, not because he sought power or influence, but because it felt right. The moment he'd thrown himself in front of those arrows, something had changed in him. He'd stopped being a man just doing a job and became something more. A bridge between two species. A symbol that courage and sacrifice were universal values, recognized and honored across the stars. 6 months after the attack, Marcus stood once again in the throne room, now fully restored and more heavily guarded. He wore the formal attire of a Valorian high noble, adapted to fit his human frame. The silver scars on his chest were visible through the ceremonial cut of the uniform, displayed with pride rather than hidden away. Elara was announcing a new treaty with Earth, one that would bring unprecedented technological exchange and mutual defense pacts. As she spoke, she gestured to Marcus, standing at her right hand. This human reminded us that honor is not bound by species or origin, she told the assembled nobles and diplomats. He demonstrated that the measure of a person lies in their actions when everything is at stake. Earth breeds warriors of exceptional quality, but more than that, they breed individuals who understand that some things are worth bleeding for. The scars ached slightly, as they sometimes did, a reminder of how close he'd come to dying. But as Marcus looked out at the sea of faces, human and Valorian alike, he knew he'd make the same choice again, without hesitation. Some rewards couldn't be quantified in currency or titles. Some were measured in purpose, in belonging, in knowing that a split-second decision had changed the course of history. Tea,